Test it and then your own side, but I'm still going to take it saying you do it. So.
Avondale Football Club also has an emergency exit plan. This exit plan is available for further viewing in any of the toilets and also at the bars. However, in case there is an emergency, you'll hear over the PA system to ask everyone to please evacuate. Emergency exit 1 is through the entry gate that you came through. It was deemed that that exit is not on roadways. Emergency exit 2 is on the back gate, closest to the freeway side over near Grandstand. Please look for brown marshals with fluoro vests indicating which direction to head. Please make yourself familiar with all of Avondale's emergency exit information. Have a safe day and support your teams appropriately.
Hello and welcome to Avenger Park, this NPL Victoria Round 19 match coming to you here from Parkville, Avondale against the Manningham United Blues, and in a league that is full of surprises and stories at every turn you take. It was still the biggest surprise of the year, the biggest shock of the year, when the Manningham United Blues earlier in the season on the 16th of March defeated the reigning champions of Victoria, Avondale, by 3-0 at Petty's Reserve. What will we have in store today as the players prepare for kickoff in this one? Steve Curtin with you, and alongside me, it's a very good afternoon to Peter Paleologus. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Nice to see you, Stephen. Yes, that was the only game Manningham has played against Avondale. one game in the whole probably history of Victorian football. So a great result. And today we see Manningham second last on the ladder on 12th and got Avondale on second. So we're looking at opposite spectrums of the ladder, but I expect a very competitive game. Manningham been good the last few weeks.
They have, and well, they've certainly got the pressure on with Moreland and St Albans picking up some points recently in various different methods of doing so as well. But the teams are in, so let's have a look at Avondale's side, and they crashed out of the cup in midweek at the home of the Matildas to their rivals, the Oakley Cannons. And we see Zoki Markowski make two changes to that team. One of them is in goal. Tom Manos returns for Mayan, who drops to the bench. The back four is unchanged with Seb Vargas, Kalilu Kamara, Aidan Bryce and Blake Carpenter. In midfield, it's George Mells, Ite Towns, and the goal scorer from midweek's Tian Cuba. Stefan Zinni comes in to replace Pat Hogan as the left winger up front. The New Zealander George Ott and Kerr is also retaining his spot in the starting 11. And there's one change for George Karklets' side with no Christos Theodorakopoulos in the side. George Samaranis continuing goal. Marco Tavalla, Dow Akol, Alex Castiello and Ali Turgut in defence. Junior Carter in midfield. Out wide, Robert Harding and Thomas Golding. There's a start for the 18-year-old Mo Al-Sadi to replace Christos Theodorakopoulos. And up front, it's Jose Ramirez, one of those players who scored in this fixture lifetime, along with Ben Everson, who managed to score and assist last week in the thrilling 2-2 at Petty's Reserve against Port Melbourne. We're underway here, and you'll see Manningham, although they're called the Blues, they're in their change strip today that's predominantly red with white on the front of the jersey, so they certainly stand out in those striking kits, Peter. And this is Avondale in possession, playing to the city end, the southern end of the venue here at Avenger Park.
Yeah, actually the Manningham tops remind me of the old Melbourne Heart tops, if you can recall, Stevie, but let's stick to NPL. Yes, I think Theodorakopoulos is a big loss today. He's the X factor, him and Everhard have scored the most goals for Manningham, and he's a big loss, but good to see the young player Al-Saudi get his chance, and that's what we want to see in the NPL.
Here's Robert Harding. Scored on 12 minutes when they met at Petty's Reserve earlier in the season. Carter is dispossessed by George Mells, who to play this ball to Kerr, and Akol had stuck a foot out, and well, from a similar position was to where he scored in midweek there. Zion Cuba. Shot was blocked on this occasion as he tries to float the ball into the back post. Zinni is there, but Ali Turgut heads away. Ali Turgut, one of the goal scorers last weekend. What a thrilling match that was. Jackson Courtney Perkins levelling things up on in the 94th minute. Really good solo goal by the Port Melbourne Sharks attacker, and he's having another good season. A real shining light in that team, but it was bad news for Manningham because they thought they were going to get the 3 points. And it would have been their first win since the 13th of April, Peter.
Yes. I mean, look, the last two games, Manningham been very competitive, 2 draws, but obviously they need a win. They're at second last, and we know that what happened with Moreland and Avondale didn't do any favours for Manningham because obviously Moreland got the 3 points 2 weeks ago for a deregistered player or unregistered player. But I think Manningham's got something today, and they'll be aiming to really put a bit of pressure on Avondale, like to be in possession. And Avondale missing also a few of their players. Katebian's not playing today. Trachesky's back, but he's on the bench. So, and also Yusuf, the top scorer, is not playing today. So maybe an opportunity, Steve, for Manningham.
Absolutely, and we'll just rattle off some of those players that are available on the bench to Zoran Markowski. He's got the defender Ethan Pisani, also the hero of last weekend, Jacob Chinnemer, who came on and scored a late double against Hume City. Trychevsky, of course, as you mentioned there, Peter Mayan, who started in midweek. Keeper, and it's a return for Yusuf Ahmed. Everson's going to try his luck here. That one was just heading for the window of the Veneto club. The netting behind the goal intervening, but nonetheless, a good look at goal for the underdogs here who've come and, well, I think under George Karkaletsis, Peter, they're going to come and they're going to take on Avondale, and that's what we've seen so far this season, that when the clubs come here and really try and get at the Avengers, they've got a lot more hope than having a passive approach.
Certainly, you can see they're pressing a bit forward, trying to put pressure on Avondale. Avondale were trying to get the ball out, but you mentioned the striker Everson, the Englishman, 6 goals this year, and actually last week's NPL Team of the Week. So really showed some form. They didn't get the result, but a really important striker considering also Federopoulos is not playing today, who is their top scorer. But I think Manningham are going to press and try to really put pressure on Avondale. Avondale have got their, looking like they're set up as a 4-3-3 today.
Everson on the ball now. He goes to ground under the challenge from Newshay Towns. Michael Mammis is overseeing things today, and he sounds the whistle to award a free kick. So Manningham, they've had plenty of play in their final third so far, and they're going to have a chance from the set piece here. So what have they got in store here? Thomas Golding and Jose Ramirez, two likely suspects. It's going to be Golding, who's renowned for his set pieces. Be the right-footed delivery. The big man forward at the back post area. So Golding puts the ball in, plenty on it, maybe a little bit too much. Acol keeps it in, and Castiello on the volley, away by Mells. Falls to Carter. Everson on the edge of the area, tried to straddle around Blake Carpenter, but he was able to win the ball back. And here's Kerr, but he's given it away to Carter. Now Carpenter and Mells all the way through. So a nervy moment there for Avondale. Boys, second place on the table, just a little bit toey there as they defended that set piece. And now Kerr's going to try and play through George Ott, but what a great challenge from Acol, going to ground, and Ott wins the ball back though. So Kerr is going to play it across, and Stefan Zinni was there. He looked like he was about to open the scoring, but for a desperate challenge, I think that was from Alex Castiello to keep the ball away from the outstretched boot of Stefan Zinni, who was ready to apply the finish. So opportunities at both ends of the park in the last minute, Peter.
Yes, Zinni there, top scorer for Avondale this year. Great chance. Acol, great tackle, but lost a little of concentration and let Ott in, and that basically caused the chance. So Acol needs to concentrate, needs to be on top of his game. You cannot allow the Avondale strikers and their midfielders those kind of second opportunities.
Replay that intervening tackle from Castiello, sliding in to take the ball off the boot of Stefan Zinni was oh so crucial. So well played by the former Altona central defender, and here's Ali Turgut playing the ball in. He's really asking questions of this Avondale defence, and Seb Vargas was back to win the ball back, but it's only gone as far as Ramirez, and the ball's out of play now for a Manningham throw over on the Tullamarine Freeway side, or western side of the venue here in Parkville. Hope you're enjoying this match wherever you're tuning in. NPL Victoria, round 19 of the competition. Hey.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Manningham, how they're set up, Steve, and they look like they're between a 4-5-1 and sometimes even a 4-3-3. So a little bit adjustment there, trying to compete with Avondale.
It's going to run all the way through to Zamaranis, who's going to be missed today in that highlighter coloured goalkeeping kit. Here's Kerr. Bit of space for George Mells. His touch was a little bit off, but he was able to pick up the ball. And now Yitay Towns exchange possession with Kamara, and now Seb Vargas. Dale trying to play through the lines of the Manningham defence here. Hayden Bryce, he's got a fair bit on that pass, and it's a good one too for Stefan Zinni. They're lining up in the middle. George Ott is in there, and it evades everybody though, including the defenders, and Kerr is on the end of it, throwing the step overs at his opponent. Find a way through. Still in possession, Kerr. Good work by Tabella to press him back. Here's Vargas, and right back getting involved in the play. Ricochet, it might fall for Sian Cuba, and over the top, Samaranis is beaten. And Sian Cuba, who can't stop scoring in the league and the cup at the moment, is in the right place at the right time to apply the perfect finish. Samaranis with no chance. It just ricocheted so perfectly for him, and he lobbed the keeper with no trouble at all. 1-0 to the Avengers.
Sian Cuba, I was watching him a lot at Altona Magic last year. Really's got that X factor, and just right place, right time. Really fantastic finish just over the top of Zamaranis. Zamaranis, you can look at him right now, very disappointed with that outcome, to be beaten like that, as would any keeper off his line. But, yeah, fantastic chance. I mean, that's what Avondale have got. They've got players out. We know Katebian's out. Yusuf's out. But they've got other players who can really lift the game. Yitay Towns And you've got Chan Kuba, who for me, one of the pickups or transfers, if I can call it that, this season.
Well, he was good for Altona Magic last year, but his output this season's been even better. That's his 9th goal in all competitions this season from midfield, so really good contributor. Touched by Harding. Lose possession again here, and Stefan Zinni is motoring on the left-hand side. He plays it in. Here's Mells. Doesn't get past his man. Pressure on the visitors at the moment as Turgut switches the play nicely. Junior Carter riding the challenge, and he wins a free kick for his troubles.
Again there, Chan Kuba involved, and George Mells. I can see the way Zoran Markovski's got the team set up. Gidette Towns has got a bit of licence to stay back. Mells to attack. And Chan Kuba a bit more freedom to help the attackers. So an interesting setup. Manningham have to really be across this, man-to-man in this one, because otherwise they've got too many creative players, Avondale.
In it comes. Manos should be able to get there. He reads it well enough, and no problems at all for an experienced goalkeeper like Tom Manos, who watched on from the bench in midweek as they bowed out of the cup competition. So second year running, we won't see Avondale in the Australia Cup or the Doherty Cup semis, which is, well, something of a surprise that a club of this stature would miss out 2 years in a row, especially a club that's bound for the national second division and has so much depth and talent. But maybe it's a blessing in disguise with the amount of injuries that they've had. That they're not too fussed that they haven't got to have that extra workload leading in towards the end of the season and the finals as they try and apply the pressure to the league leaders, South Melbourne.
Yeah, so we know South Melbourne had a win yesterday, so they're clearly on top. But Avondale, yeah, they've had a lot of injuries. The last time I was here against the Northans, 3 of their players were injured, so had a bit of hard luck this season, and that's why they probably have to manage the player load and ensure all their players are fitter for the finals part of the season. But Manningham, they're still in this game. I mean, they've got to really focus and work hard. It's about work rate today.
Here's Bryce. He's pressure from Everson, but he able to keep possession. Might have been a handball by Ali Turgut, but Michael Mamas is allowing play to continue, and he brings it forward towards Rob Harding, who controls it with the shoulder, and a nice touch to go past Blake Carpenter too. Rob Harding into the box. Everson is the option, but he had the ball taken off his toe so quickly by a swarm of blue shirts, and here's Blake Carpenter switching it out to the right-hand side, and Seb Vargas, who's been a really good contributor in recent weeks at right back, finds George Ott, and his first-time ball is just a little bit off for Kerr, and it was well done by Marco Tavella, the 23-year-old left back, sliding in to knock the ball out of play. And here he is again, Tavella. He's been busy in the opening moments.
Yeah, just before there for Manningham, Harding has shown quite a bit last year with Altona, and now he just shown what he can do. Bit of a heavy touch by Everson, but he's going to have a lot of pressure on him. He's pretty much playing as the lone striker, but that's what Manningham got to do, get behind Avondale and create those opportunities.
That's the good thing about George Carcletz's football, both last year in the NPL2, as it were, and this season as well. They play an expansive brand of football, and they're not afraid to play and be open at the back. And we've seen them have some thrillers. What was that one at home where they lost to Altona 5-4? Was it games like that? As George Ott might be in here for a second for Avondale. It's on the roof of the net. Well, George Ott had it all open up for him there. And the big Otter from New Zealand, he just couldn't keep his shot under the crossbar there. Otherwise, Samaranos would have been lobbed twice in the first 13 minutes. Yes,
George Ott, 6 goals this year. That's a chance. Could have done a little bit better. Again, Samaranos off the line, but just a little bit of a heavy. It looks like Avondale, very attacking mindset, and this is where you've got to be very careful, Manningham.
The first touch from Ott was all class. The finish didn't quite have the same quality, and the ball over the top from Kerr was excellent. And you can see that Zoran Markovski is really happy to have Kerr back available after returning from injury. Both of the wingers they've got today returning from injury. But here's a chance for Ben Everson running at Bryce. This is Ben Everson, and a good save by Manos with the feet to keep him out. Well, it really opened up for Everson there, and he couldn't make the most of the opportunity. Out wide is Tavala. This is Ramirez playing a little bit deeper than he has in some previous matches. His header, away by Mells. Kerr and Ramirez might have had a bit of a coming together of the noggins there, and Kerr coming on second best.
Yeah, Everson, good chance there, and against Bryce, both actually. I mentioned before Everson, but Bryce was also in the team of the week, NPL team of the week, so very important players for both their teams. But Everson's a danger, and you've got to get the ball. It's a smaller pitch here, so he will get the ball in the right areas, inside the box or just outside, and hopefully he can convert for Manningham, because it's what it's about as a striker, being able to convert your chances. Stevie?
That's right. Now, we didn't quite get through all those subs for Avondale, because the one that we didn't get to mentioning was the one who's wearing the number 99, at least when he comes on, and that's Yusuf Ahmed, the more recent addition to Zoran Markovski's squad in terms of Yusuf Ahmed's, because they have, of course, got two of them. And he's back from international duty with Somalia, Peter, where he was involved in a couple of matches just recently in the international window against Mozambique and Botswana in Maputo.
What a fantastic experience. And we've seen this in the NPL. We've seen quite a few players for South Sudan, Somalia, pretty much become international. Even one for, I believe, for PNG recently from North Geelong. So we do have those type of players in our NPL.
Ball's played out to Kerr. Running it to Valla. Good duel between those two, and chance for Towns was blocked off the boot. Al-Sadi is the number 15 out there, who's trying to get himself into the game. The youngster, 18 years of age, and a really good chance for him. And Towns tries his luck, but it's off target, and never going to trouble George Samaranis. And good to see Al-Sadi getting his chance. Mohammed Al-Sadi, just 18 years of age, and our stats tell us that he scored 21 goals for Pascoe Vale's under-21s last year, so you can see why he has that swagger and confidence about him.
Yeah, I mean, Manningham got a couple of players that come from lower leagues and brought them into the NPL, but that is Pascoe Vale under-21s. That's pretty much a 21 goals. As you said, Steve, that's 1 goal per game, and showing someone who can really come from those smaller leagues and even the under-21s or under-23s and really make a difference. And it's good that clubs are looking for those type of players, what we call gyms, or players that haven't been scouted and been given an opportunity to showcase what they can do in the NPL.
It's Junior Carter, who's so far the Japanese defensive midfielder. A really good acquisition to the club since coming across a couple of years ago from his Japanese club, Tsukuba. Versatile player and very confident on the ball. And Vargas, he's going to lose out to Everson here, who's enjoying himself out there despite missing that earlier chance. He's had plenty of the football, Ben Everson, to take on some less experienced players than himself here, including Seb Vargas. Way back, here's Ramirez, who rides the challenge, and another, and eventually loses out. And here's George Ott, Kerr on the right-hand side. Zinni's in space on the left, and he tries to pick him out. It's a raking switch of play, and a good first touch by Stefan Zinni. Running it, Castiello. Castiello does well. And goal kick is the decision from Michael Mamus. Well played, Alex Castiello.
Very important, Castiello, in the defence of Manningham, because really he's got a lot of experience. Manningham, we're looking at closing down. That's what it's about pressing and closing down Avondale, not giving them the easy options. In terms of Castiello, a lot of good defensive decision-making is very important in their structure, and Manningham really rely on him to make sure that defence is shored up. Steve.
Samaranis prepares to take the goal kick. He's definitely going to play this one long. He takes his time and sends it up and over the halfway line, and Everson is the obvious target. It evades both him and Aidan Bryce. Carpenter. One behind the ball in the red shirts. Manningham trailing, but certainly not out of it. They've created some good chances so far. Ben Everson forcing a good save from Tom Manos, using his feet to kick him out only a few moments ago. Direct ball is by Tavala. Rob Harding giving chase. Go on, Peter.
No, a bit ambitious there. Junior Carter was actually asking for the ball there, and went just for the long ball, and he's communicating, showing a bit of leadership, Junior Carter. I think they need to make sure he's got the distribution and the pivot and the impact. He needs to give him a little bit more of the ball. Sorry, Steve.
It's a good point you make, Peter, and I think a coach like George Carcoletis, the style of football he plays, he's not looking for his players to be playing those kind of balls. So I'm sure he'll be casting his opinion on that during the half-time break, and we're going to see a little bit less of that style of football. They can play direct, but they have to really pick their moments. Here's Kamara. Vargas, Ite Towns, good pressure from Ramirez, forcing him all the way back to Manos. He's trying to switch the play, but it's going to be picked up by the experienced figure of Ali Turgut. A goal for him last week. What's he got in store today? Here's that man, Junior Carter. Castiello now. That's a good ball. Good distribution by the central defender, but he's turned it over here, Turgut, and Blake Carpenter's going to try and fuel the counter-attack as he goes surging forward, but his pass for Kerr was behind him, so it allows Manningham time to get players back behind the ball. Here's Mells. Towns, who good use of the body by Ute Towns against Robert Harding. Castiello looking for options. He didn't see anything ahead of the ball. Composure, and he picks out the good pass to Golding. This is Thomas Golding. Out wide is Mohamed Al-Sadi. Throw the step overs here at Seb Vargas. He gets past him one way or another and supplies the cross. The outstretched boot of Kalilu Kamara puts behind for a corner kick. Well played, Mohamed Al-Sadi.
Yeah, that's very well played, and the way he beat the players, and actually the cross, you look where he's going to pass it to, and really looking a very impressive player. I think Manningham, as the game progresses, you mentioned earlier Steve Tegurt, who's come over from Daniel Thunder. He actually makes some very good runs. I know he lost the ball and had to chase back a recovery run, but he's a very important player for Manningham, and they need to get him more into the game.
It's going to be Golding with a set-piece opportunity. He's low and doesn't beat the first man, so a disappointing one. He might get a second chance if he can get to the ball first, but coming through fiercely was the goal scorer, Sian Cuba. Those subs as well available to George Carcoletis this afternoon. James Tuntis, Reece Dufton, Thomas Greenos, Hayden Cross, and Alex Viola is the substitute keeper. Jay. This is Al-Sadi again. You can see that confidence he has. Now here's Carter. For Al-Sadi. Carter on the overlap. Can he supply a telling cross here? Everson is there, and the flag is up. It was a good attack. So what's the decision here, Peter?
Is he pointing to the penalty spot?
I think he has. The flag's gone up from the assistant referee, but it looks like. Check the replay screen again here, because this is a puzzling one. Was there attention on Junior Carter after he played the ball, perhaps there, Peter, that was just out of shot?
Yes, I think it was a foul after the disposal, but also we've got an offside, so there's an interrelationship between this decision.
It's a complex one.
Yes, and I think the communication between the referee and the linesperson, it's basically the linesperson now is actually pointing that it is a penalty. Is not going to approach the referee. And yeah, it must have been a tackle after the play, definitely.
So, and I assume the assumption there, Peter, is that if Everson was offside, it didn't matter because the foul occurred before that on Junior Carter.
Yes.
Tom Manos is protesting, saying, well, if Everson is in that position, then he's affecting the play. Ball's coming to him anyway. He's involved in the play. So it's a hotly contested one. Michael Mamas was quick to point to the spot, though.
Yeah, gamesmanship there by Manos, trying to now put doubts in Everson's mind. It's Everson, a striker.
What a moment this could be if Everson can level things up here against Tom Manos. Sends the keeper the wrong way. And it's 1-1 at Avenger Park. We've got the close one. Ben Everson, another goal for him this season to make it 7 for his 2024 NPL Victoria season. He's certainly proving that he's still got it. There's no doubt about it. And, wow, what a coolly taken penalty.
Yeah, you can see in terms of the penalty class strong finish, and really Manos couldn't put him off. He knew he was going to place that. But Manningham in this game, and they've got a little bit of enthusiasm, they've got some options, and just it's about communication. I noticed that we mentioned earlier about Junior Carter. He's trying to communicate with his players to get into positions and put pressure on Avondale, and deservedly they got the equaliser.
Back underway, 1-1 here. Just reviewing that penalty decision, and it was definitely for the foul on Junior Carter, so see who the offending player was. Ball lane forward for Harding, and Bryce has missed this one. Robert Harding into the area. Their chance is spurned by Thomas Golding.
Thomas Golding, what an opportunity on the transition. Harding just really got behind, and you really got to put those away. That's when you get the momentum, and he'll be very disappointed with that.
So too will be Bryce Fancy as well. He came out to try and put pressure on Robert Harding, missed the ball, and he was made to pay in midweek as well when Joe Guest scored Cannon's third goal, went across from the left-hand side, came in and just rolled under the foot of Bryce, and Joe Guest really made him pay for it. So Hayden Bryce in the team of the week from last week is some tough times this week. It's funny, he played in central defensive midfield last Saturday as well when he made the team of the week, and then moving back to central defence, he's had some ups and downs. He wants to go back into midfield again.
Yes, he was in the midfield, that's correct, Steve. He was in the midfield last week and got NPL team of the week, but now he's playing centre-back, pretty much leading from the back there.
It's Ute Towns. It's the clearance. Anderson with the first-time pass for Golding. Pressure from Mells. Sadi is out wide on the left. To come inside. Anderson's making the good run in behind. It's a well-timed pass to pick him out too. Anderson back to goal for Allies. Junior Carter's available. He's going to go for the big switch of play for Harding. And here it is for Turgut. Oh, good block by Bryce. Only as far as Al Sadi, who tried his luck but had it blocked straight off his boot. He's going to go out of play for a Manningham throw. So, well, Manningham is giving as good as they're getting here against the champions of last season. They beat them 3-0 last time, and they're giving it a red-hot crack again today here.
Oh, Bryce, that was a timely interception. That was going right in the corner. Maybe Manus would have got there, but Karkaletis has set up his midfield very... 5 midfielders trying to stop the triangle that Avondale has as a midfield with Yide Towns, Mells and Chan Kuba, and really trying to stop that momentum forward, and it's working so far.
Harding, well played by Bryce. Carter, and I think they're ahead of Mells. This is Cuba. Now Mells can turn and face forward. And Stefan Zinni, foot race between he and Ali Turgut. Zinni looking for options in the middle. Ott was one of them. It's going to be a Manningham corner, an Avondale corner. So Sian Cuba over to take, and a chance for Avondale to get the ball up into their final third, because they've been doing all the defensive work in the last probably 15 minutes. Yeah,
and that's the danger of Avondale. They can really get to the other side of the park. Akol very important there to interception. That could have been a counter attack there, which could have ended an Avondale score.
Crowding the 6-yard box, so a challenge here for George Samaranis. It comes in from Cuba. It's right there for Zinni. Oh, they won't come much easier than that for Stefan Zinni. It's a soft goal for Manningham to concede, and it's great for Stefan Zinni. He scored last weekend, and he scores again here. And Avondale's leading scorer in the competition, back from injury and back with the bag in the last fortnight. 2-1 to the Avengers, and, well, that's a real blow for Karkaletis' side, because they've done so much good work at the other end of the pitch. Avondale taking it up there and scoring straight away from the Sian Cuba corner kick.
As you mentioned, Steve, that was way too easy, and a too easy goal. I would say Manningham will be very, very disappointed with that. That's just Zinni, just right place, right time, and he's been working really hard and not to properly scan. The players should be scanning where their opponents are, and Manningham let themselves down there. They just gave too much space and just went right through the pack of players.
Smells. Kerr. It's a bit wide.
I don't want to say this, but that was against the run of play. I would say the 2-1, but we're 30 minutes in. We actually have had a result in a previous game. We had Green Gully 4, Oakley 2, which is a bit of an upset. So just for everyone there, we had a great game out of Green Gully, 4-2 for Green Gully, which I believe that Josh Hope got a couple of goals.
Yeah, really good result for Gully, and you wonder if under their new manager, if maybe they've turned the corner and maybe they're talking about the F word again, Peter, at Green Gully.
Well, why not? I mean, at the start of the season, we were talking about this before. We lost Clark. Waring got a late transfer to Oakley, which changed their structure. They probably had planned with Waring starting at the top of the line. But now, this is the thing about the NPL Victoria. Most games are very competitive, and Green Gully have got a lot of talent. And finally, when they get it right, they blossom, and maybe they can catch up to Port Melbourne, who are on 6th spot right now, although they are about 6 points behind.
Bit of work to do for Gully, but maybe there's still time for them to turn things around. Here's a bit of space for George Mells. Avondale, really good value for their 2-1 lead here, because Manningham's had plenty of chances up the other end. Here's El Sadi trying some trickery, but Kerr was aware to the threat.
Yeah, you mentioned Kerr and El Sadi, two exciting players for the league. Younger players, and really, adding some extra dimension for both their teams.
Here's George Ott out wide on the left. He's got Castiello to beat. Carpenter getting forward. He tries his luck. He got a bit on it, but was always rising over the bar, and never a threat for George Zamaranis to need to make a save. But nonetheless, it's better from Avondale. Since they've scored that go-ahead goal, they've got themselves back on top in the balance of general play, it seems, after they were under the cosh for 15 minutes before that.
Yeah, Carpenter, a winger turned wing-back, if I can call it that. Really loves to get forward, and that's the thing about Zoran Markovsky's team. All the players have license to attack as long as someone's backing up. It's a relationship link type of setup where everyone knows where they stand, and they've got to be aware where their teammate is. So, yeah, it's good to see Carpenter get on the front footy, because he's a natural attacking player.
Waits the challenge from Carpenter. Sliding in was Harding. It's a good point you make, Penny. Look at the stats out of their players in the matchday squad today. There's very few of them that don't have a goal to their name this season in either competition, aside from Kalaloo Kamara and keepers Mayan and Mayan and Thomas Manos, of course. And, Ethan Pisani, who's on the bench as a central defender, he also gets to open his account. But most of their players have found the back of the net at some point this season. Here's Turgut now. This is El Sadi. Ball for Golding, who steps inside. Everson. So good at holding up the ball and shielding the ball and holding defenders off. Golding's ball for El Sadi. It's got Harding in the middle. It's El Sadi, and it's just wide. And did Manos make the save there? Well, El Sadi thinks so.
No, that's unfortunately not a corner, but El Sadi, good movement. Really split the defence open and really created. He'd actually be disappointed with that. Really got in a great position, and today's a day where he's getting an opportunity with Federacopoulos out, their main player or main X-Factor striker. He's getting really, and especially on the left there, really putting some pressure on Avondale.
It's a really good replacement. Federacopoulos, such a big loss, but he's such a similar sort of style of player, with the same sort of swagger and movement and taking players on and not afraid to pull the trigger as well. As you say, coming from the left-hand side of the pitch. Haven't really seen him too much of him before to know if that's his most natural position or not. He prefers to play perhaps through the middle. Stefan Zinni's a player who enjoys playing down the left, and he plays it in. Ott was the target. He found Ott, but Ott couldn't bring it down and open up the angle to shoot. Here's Yite Towns. And we'd love another one before the break. This is Carpenter. Now Mells. Good defensive shape with the boys in red. And well played by Akol. Al-Sadi now. Ramirez. Really enjoying attacking down that left-hand side of the park, and Al-Sadi's giving chase here. Kalalu Kamara, who's got there first, but he's shown too much of the ball. Al-Sadi picks it back, and Everson. Good save, Manos. Well, Al-Sadi made it all happen for Ben Everson, who nearly scored his second, and that's a big foul by Rob Harding on Yite Towns, and everyone's going to have to take a breather here because this is pretty frantic stuff at Avenger Park, Peter.
Yes, Harding a bit lucky there. I thought maybe the yellow would come out. But you're right, Al-Sadi again getting right behind the Avondale defence and really creating some problems. What a chance opportunity there, and Avondale will be a bit Manningham will be a bit disappointed, but they're in this game and they're putting pressure on, even though the 2-1 behind. Manningham are creating the opportunities, and I was watching George Mells. He's the main factor here for Avondale. Always controlling, always communicating.
Zinni, Kerr, a bit of space. He tries like it's Kerr, and he tries the curler.
It looks like today, Steve, it's they're trying to chip Zamorano. Is that going to be the third one today? So I'm not saying that's a weakness, but that seems like that's a trend. And Hardings, I think, could be injured. It was a very tough tackle. I think he should have been in the book for that. So very fortunate, although it looks like he's changing the orange boots. But very fortunate.
He's taking the boots off and he's doing the back up. Well, Zamorano is not the tallest of goalkeepers, but he's not short either. He's possibly a centimetre taller than Tom Manos at the other end. So less than 10 minutes till half-time, and Zamoranos is going to send this one up and over the halfway line. Good header by Carpenter. Turgood, and now well played Carter with the poise, and he just volleys that diagonally across field, and it's a perfect pass for Al-Sadi. Well played by Carter. And Al-Sadi just lost his footing at the wrong time, and it's easy for Vargas to bring the ball away. Kerr, he's been so busy up the right-hand side for Avondale. His shirt pulled by Golding, and Michael Mamus is going to give a free kick to the Avengers.
Yeah, Vargas is having the number 6 there. He's on the right side there for Avondale, playing the right back role. Having a lot of problems with Al-Sadi. He's getting behind him. Al-Sadi maybe over-exuberant, overrunning the ball a few times, but a really dangerous player and causing problems on that left-hand side for Manningham.
Pass from Bryce, and Zinni should just about be able to keep it in, but the flag's gone up. Michael Mamus hasn't seen it yet. That ball was out of play, and George Ott might be in here for a goal, but it doesn't change the fact that the ball was out of play, and now we have a whistle. Michael Mamus still hasn't seen the assistant referee's decision. It's Cheng Hu, the assistant referee in front of us here. The ball was out. But, well, in the words of Brian Taylor, that was out of bounds. But play continues.
Yes, that's the second time pretty much Brady overlooked the assistant referee's decision there. It was definitely out of bounds there. Or over the line, I should say.
So a dangerous situation here, and well defended at the front post by Chavella. The shorter man getting in there to head that one away. Chavella, who made the move across from Northcote City last year to Petty's reserve, and Zion Cuba. So same approach again. It's a packed 6-yard box. Stefan Zinni lurking outside dangerously. It's away by Akol, and another corner again. So corner practice here. Just over 5 minutes to go until half-time. Avondale leading 2-1. Cuba, and it's flicked on at the near post. Bryce is at the back post. He's going to play like a winger temporarily here as he puts the ball in. Samaranis comes out to claim. Oh, what? Lost his footing.
Give him a penalty!
Lost his balance, back up on his feet, and tackled by Everson. Oh, we thought that was going to be another corner, but it's been given a goal kick.
Yeah, Samaranis came out there, very risky, and got away with that a little bit. But Avondale will be disappointed, especially George Ott. But yeah, look, the pressure's on, the set pieces, that's very important for Avondale. But I think Manningham still will be happy with maybe 2-1 if they can go in. They've shown a lot of attacking opportunities and been able to really attack Avondale, so they're still in this game.
Here's Everson dropping deep, and he's been fouled by Kerr. That's an easy decision for Michael Mavis. Should mention over on the far side, assistant referee Jordan English, who was presented with a commemorative framed picture print beforehand. 150 games today for Jordan English, who is the assistant referee on the far side. So congratulations to one of the well-renowned officials on bringing up that milestone today. Mal's headed by Akol, and here's Ramirez. Turgot's got plenty of space in front of him to move into here. Carter. Everson turns to face forward. Al-Sadi to his left. He's going to try and come inside, but Mel's took it off his toes. And Everson pinched it back again. Now Al-Sadi out on the touchline. Ramirez. Turgut is available. And the blue shirt's getting back to win the ball. Tackle. Touch for Samaranis. Puts it out of play. Not sure what he was trying to do there, but it'll be a throw to the Avengers.
Good reading of the play there, Nicole. Very important for Manningham in defence. I've noticed that in terms of Harding and Goulding, they interchange pretty much the wings. Now they're back to the same wing again, but Kakaletas, the coach of Manningham, trying to mix things up. He needs to maybe change the plan, try to get back into the game in this latter part of the first half.
Well, they seem like a hard team to defend against, Peter, because it's, as you mentioned, most of these teams in NPL Victoria, you can sort of predict where they're calling the games, you can sort of predict where the attacking players are going to be, but the interchange of positions for Manningham has been something that, you know, we see in some cases, but we've seen it almost a wholesale in their front, probably 5 players today. It's Ramirez, Everson, Goulding. So started on the right, drifting inboard. Everson could have just about pulled the trigger there. Harding in a foot race with Carpenter, and Carpenter has to concede the corner. So chance here for Manningham to get the ball into the box and put some pressure on this Avondale defence, who's been, well, taking it a little bit easier in the last few minutes since they have not been under the pump like they were midway through the half. Yeah,
you mentioned an important point. On Manningham, you would think 12 from the ladder, maybe play a low block, maybe play counter-attack and transition, but they've taken the game up and they've had their opportunities, and here we are with another set piece.
And it comes from Al-Sadi. George Ott doing the defensive header. Cuba was just about tunnelling his opponent there in Rob Harding. Zinni. This is danger here for Manningham. Stefan Zinni, and now Kerr. And offside. Kerr not timing his run.
Yeah, an offside there. As you can see how quickly Avondale can get on the front foot and attack. Markovs has got this team, it's all about end product. He's got 5, 6, 7 players who can really score a goal, maybe more. Maybe I underestimated that, but yeah, it's all about end product, and they want to get in positions where they can get the score. Stevie, here we go. We've got a bit of Carpenter's got a bit of an injury here. Carpenter's gone a little bit hard on the Al-Sadi, the young player.
It seemed like Carpenter's going in there to check on the young man, and Ali Turgut was pushing him away. Watch that one again on our replay screen as the ball was switched across the pitch. Carpenter's done a lot wrong there.
Yeah, he's walked away now. It's referee wants to speak to him, but Carpenter trying to talk down to the referee there. I think the referee's just going to get on with it. It's a tough game. And yeah, let's keep it moving.
Hopefully El Sadi's okay to continue here. It's back up to his feet. I believe there'll be 2 minutes added on at the end of this first 45. Wait for the official confirmation, but protest from Carpenter. But still going to be a free kick nonetheless for Manningham. And Ali Turgut will be delivering this one. Dinks it into the back post area. Headed by Bryce was good, and then further on by Vargas. Zavala flew high. Oh, Zavala and Kerr both in a bit of strife here. We might have a bit more time added on than that, just 2 minutes. Might make that 3. Hopefully Kerr and Zavala are both okay.
Yeah, that was a heavy collision. I think Kerr has been hit in the head, so hopefully he's okay. It's not a concussion. But really, it's been a very interesting first half. I mean, Manningham really shown their attacking abilities, and you know they've got definitely an equaliser in them. But Avondale also, the way they play, the attacking mindset, the ability of players to change positions, transition, always on the front foot, always progressive, going forward with passes, attacking mindset, always going to be dangerous here. But Manningham have really shown that this, at least in this first half, that they're up to it, and this is an even game, Steve.
Absolutely right, Peter. And I think a lot of people might have seen this one on the fixture at the start of the weekend and thought, well, it's not really a game of the round, but it certainly played out that way with two teams with a good attacking and expansive game plan going at each other. And as a result, we've seen plenty of attempts on goal, plenty of big saves. We've also already seen 3 goals before half-time. Well, Manningham, they're unlucky to be trailing as well because they made some really good opportunities and they've just conceded a couple of goals where they can probably count themselves a little bit stiff, or maybe their defending was a little bit soft, particularly for the second one, which was scored by Stefanzini after the Sion Cuba corner kick was repelled straight to his feet and he just passed it into the net from 12 yards.
Yeah, especially that second goal. George Kakalech is the coach of Avondale. We're very disappointed. It was what we call a soft goal.
But there is time for Manningham to level things up before the break. So 3 minutes of added time, and we're into the first minute of that now. See spectators back being accommodated in the grandstand on the far side of the pitch. It's better experience when you have an elevated viewing position and taking in the action. Out of action for a long time, but Kerr is back in the action after his injury scare a moment ago, and here's Carpenter who looks for the direct ball to George Ott. Oh, that's a good first touch. Will he be able to get around Samaranis? He goes to ground. What's the decision here from Michael Mamas? It's looking like a goal kick. Wow, a contentious one on the stroke of half-time. Good ball over by Carpenter. The first touch from Ott was fairly clean, but it did invite contact from Samaranis. And was there any? That is the question.
That is the question, because that was close. Was that a dive, or did Samaranis touch the player? I mean, the referee's made up his mind, and I can see Avondale are not very happy. George Mel speaking to the referee and saying overturn that decision, but the referee didn't see it as a penalty, so here we go. Continue play.
Certainly keeps things interesting. Avondale was a big moment in the game last week when Avondale got a penalty in first half stoppage time. It was converted, and then Weir sent off for booting the ball into the backside of George Ott as the players were celebrating, changing the complexity of the context of that game. And here's Ali Turgut, maybe last roll of the dice here for Manningham before half-time. Here's Golding. Sadi providing the overlap. He plays it in. Will it fall here for Ramirez? Well, that was a real haymaker as he swung his boot, and Ute Town's taking it the other way. Kerr out there in front of the Manningham technical area. Options in the middle. Ramirez determined to win the ball back, and he's cleaned up Kerr and play on's the call from Michael Mamas. That will be all we have time for in any case, as he sounds the whistle for half-time, where it is 2-1 at Avenger Park. An exciting first 45. Sion Cuba opening the scoring with a lob over the top of George Samaranis on 9 minutes, and it was Ben Everson from the spot beating Tom Manos on 24 minutes before Avondale back in front through Stefan Zinni for that set-piece routine from Sian Cuba. Just before the half-hour mark, that's the way the first half finishes, Peter, but certainly, as you mentioned, plenty of exciting football between two teams who are having a real go at each other, regardless of their positions, or almost bookending the league table.
Yeah, Manningham really surprised me. They're taking on the game. They're not playing defensive at all. They've actually been in quite a few different positions to score, so just couldn't have that end product or that finish right at the end there. Avondale will be a bit disappointed. I think they'll be further ahead, but they've got a game on their hands. Manningham, a very plucky, effective and hard-working team. Looking forward to the second half, Steve.
It should be a great second 45, and looking forward to seeing what plays out, because Manningham, while they're down by a goal, they're certainly not out of the action here. They've shown that they've been able to give as good as they can, and well, they actually had the more of the chances. We saw those stats pop up in the half-time break there. Avondale have only had 2 shots on target, both of them have been goals, Peter, so Avondale have made the most of their chances. So as the players head up the tunnel, we'll take a short break here, both myself, Steve Curtin, and alongside me, Peter Paleologus, and Jordan behind the camera for Sportscast Australia. We'll be back in around 15 minutes for the second 45 from Avenger Park, where at half-time the score reads Avondale 2, Manningham 1.
He looks all right. See that. He came over, must come from the window or whatever. Yeah, but even that, it just shows it's just a level of player, level of play. Like get Aiden Paul, we'll say like back one first. He's got to play his absolute best to be at level. If he drops off a little bit, he's those role plays. They drop off a little bit, they're quite short. Top 5, 10 plays to the ground. I'm here to say it's wild, like I said. You know, like he's conscious, he's struggling. He'll just change his game with his defensive beats for the rest of the game and still be one of the most effective players in the ground. You know? I'm sure he will.
He said it was
George said straight away, he goes, George goes early on, he goes, I didn't train training with the same months ago. He goes, his calmness on the ball is next level. No one else has it. He's seen it. He's just the first game, Joe played and sort of cost us a goal. But George is not saying don't play this. You say, people who play that level, they can see it, right? He goes, I can see it. He goes, so what you're doing, you're getting experience, you're getting experience, you're up to when you're trying to go. He's doing the international level, so he's up at 5 in the morning to stay. So he might sort of watch and give him next year. Hence why he wanted to stay in the 18s. More just fun with his mates. But, you know, you don't know. We don't.
Dad, you see it, Macy?
Hey?
See it, Macy? What?
Where'd you get food? Over there or over there? Down there. So go back. I'm surprised he didn't like it. What sort of say to me? He goes, what does Darren say on their best player? That yet please work the other Sydney. I said, because on 3 games out of 10, you're better than any Sydney. But the other 7 games, you could be worse than 3. You know, because consistency, what they do, you know, those victories.
Hello and welcome back to Avenger Park for the second 45 of this NPL Victoria men's round 19 match between Avondale and the Manningham United Blues. At half-time it is a 2-1 advantage to the home side, but that probably doesn't tell the full story of the balance of play, because Manningham have been very good. The side that surprised Avondale back in March with that 3-0 win at Petty's Reserve. They managed to hit the scoreboard through their evergreen forward, the 37-year-old Ben Everson, from the spot after they won a spot kick. 24 minutes, a goal either side of that for Avondale's Zion Cuba. Zinni sees the Avengers with a handy lead, and they can keep the pressure on top side South Melbourne, who lead by 8 points currently, but the live ladder goes back to just 5 points. So the title race is certainly not over with 8 weeks to go in the season here. As Bryce puts this one out, that might even go on the Tullamarine Freeway, Peter.
It definitely will go, and just this went on the Tullamarine Freeway. But welcome everyone back to this second half. Looks like there's a bit of cloud, but I don't expect any rain. And yes, looking forward to this second half. Manningham have been on the front foot. They'll be disappointed behind. That was a very soft goal, as we mentioned earlier in the first half. But yeah, they're in this game, and as you mentioned earlier, Steve, it is an expansive game. We're going to see some good football second half. Stay tuned.
The sun's come out. It's almost like the weather gods have seen the quality of this match, and they've decided to shine a light upon it. But it's going to make it challenging for, well, given it is the winter solstice this weekend. The sun very low in the sky and difficult to see, so great work by Jordan behind the camera for Sportscast Australia to give you the best look at this one as the shadows grow longer and longer out there as the sun sets over Melbourne's west this afternoon. Player ID is going to be getting a little bit harder as well here, Peter, but we can pick out, this is Aiden Bryce striding forward, trying to run past Ramirez. This is Mells switching the play. Kirker's in a bit of space here, running at Tavalla. This is Kirker, who gets to the byline. Well played by Marco Tavalla, who blocked the cross. Back to Kirker, who floats it into the danger zone. And the two Georges combining here. Mells to Odd, and back to Odd again, and what a combination it is. One George to another, and the big New Zealander gets his first of the afternoon and makes it 3-1. And just after half-time, Avondale are threatening to run out of sight against the Manningham United Blues here. A fine goal set up by Kirkhurd on the right-hand side, but the poise of George Mells to find George Ott, and he buried it with a plonk.
George times George, Ott and Mells. Unbelievable. What a start for Avondale. Really, Kirkhurd really creating some problems on the right, and just very hard, very elusive, and brought it in, and saw George Mells combine with Ott, and again, top corner, just beat Tamaranis again, a very high shot, and Avondale, great start to the second half. Got the momentum. Manningham were very disappointing letting this goal so early.
There's Golding. Nice equal to it. Mell's header. Carter at the top. Al-Sadi. Well played by Vargas, who's only had his colours lowered a touch by Al-Sadi's qualities in the first 45. Look at George Oddie's some confidence, but he's lost the ball here. Now Golding skips past the challenger Bryce. Well played, Thomas Golding. Al-Sadi, he'd be starting to tire now as he beats the ball by Vargas on this occasion, and here's Zay Towns. Back to Vargas, sliding in. Al-Sadi did well. It's a throw to the Avengers.
Yeah, Golding and Al-Sadi very important on this left flank for Manningham. Need to create the opportunities, but Manningham really got to get forward. They really got to find maybe some solution. We may see some changes from the bench to turn this game around. 3-1. It's not really reflective of the performance so far, but football can be cool, and Avondale got one soft goal, and then straight after half-time got the second.
Avondale, 3 shots on target and 3 goals is what the stats are saying at the moment. So really making the most of opportunities. Here's Ali Turgood, who's got pressure on him from Stefan Zinni, and it's Hoisted upfield by Harding, who was getting back to help out. Now Golding, good skill in a tight space by Thomas Golding. He's been impressive this afternoon, and now El Sadi. His pass was off target. Kerr switches the play nicely. Here's Stefan Zinni running at Castiello. Stefan Zinni, he's already got one this afternoon. Oh, he's been fouled right on the paint of the penalty area, and it's going to be a free kick right on the edge of the box.
Yeah, I think that was Harding who... Castello stayed off there, Zinni, and that was a bit dangerous. Harding had to make some sort of move and committed the foul, but Zinni was really approaching the box and looking dangerous. I think Castello should have pushed a little bit forward to close the angle, but Harding just made the foul there, and here's an opportunity, a set piece for Avondale. We don't have the Opta stats, so I'm not so sure how Avondale are doing with their set pieces, but this is a good opportunity, very close here, and Moranis really needs to ensure that his wall's very well set up.
It's like Zian Cuba is interested, but there's good options on the left-footed side of the equation, such as Blake Carpenter. Avondale are always a club who's stacked with players who can hit a dead ball. He's showing some interest as well. He hasn't gone away yet either.
Got 4 options there, Neil. I mean, Steve.
Moranis organising his wall. 10 yards back. George Mells is occupying an unusual position here to try and put off the Manningham defenders. It's going to be Cuba, but it's over the bar. Never really threatening Zamoranis' goal there. Cuba unable to double his account for the afternoon.
Cuba will be disappointed in that. And with the great thing about the NPL here in Victoria, we've seen a lot of players from interstate. Cuba knows come from Queensland, I believe. His brother's also playing NPL Victoria.
Diego.
Yeah, Diego Cuba. And that's the exciting thing about NPL Victoria. We do sometimes the comparison game with New South Wales, but that's one thing we've got here in Victoria, and that's players coming from Queensland, WA, and also young players. I've seen El Sadi getting an opportunity.
Manningham, they're going to keep the ball in here through Ramirez. El Sadi is ahead of him. This is Mohamed El Sadi. Thomas Golding now. He's been really good in the early minutes of this second half. Marshalling the play for George Carflitz's side. There's Carter. It's a decent ball, but Kamara got there. Read it easily in the end. Kerr. Forced to go a long way back. Bryce. Ott, the latest goal scorer, and that's well played by George Ott off the chest. Good technique and execution. Cuba. Marcus couldn't keep that one in. It was just a touch behind him, and had to break stride to try and bring it under his spell. So how to play right in front of our broadcast position on the former 2006 Commonwealth Games Village side of the venue here at Avenger Park. Steve Curtin and Peter Paleologus with you for this one. NPL Victoria round 19 of the competition, and the transfer window is about to, well, I know it's slammed shut. What happens when it opens? Does it just gently slide open? It's certainly been a long wait.
It has been a long wait. It's very into the season. Like, we've got 8-9 games plus finals. Really late. It's like, I mean, there's only 14 teams in the NPL in Victoria, and
flags up here against Ellie Turgut, who got forward from left back. Trying to make it 2 goals in as many weeks.
Whereas the New South Wales NPL got 16 teams, so they obviously got more rounds and can spread the window right in the middle, but very late to make changes. But there could be movement. There could be movement in the transfer window. There's 2 transfer windows for me, and we'll talk about this probably a little bit later, Steve. The second division supposed to start next year. Some of these players, a lot of these players, are showcased. Like, we've got Uday Towns. We've just seen Golding there. We've got
looking for the cross against Tavalla. Throwing the step overs. Kerr one way, then he goes onto the right. Oh, well played Akol. Did the defensive duties. Come back in another wave of an attack here from Uday Towns, who floats it in. George Ott was lurking. Another way by that. Manningham defence again. They've been busy since half time. Here's Carpenter. Good ball in behind for Stefan Zinni, who gets to the byline. Stefan Zinni for George Ott. Back to goal. Zinni again, but it's over the bar.
Good opportunity, good build up there by Avondale. And Kerr again, a lot of work rate. And sorry, I got a bit fixated there about the National Second Division, but Kerr really. Kerr, really working hard with George Mells. They're pretty much hunting now, hunting for the ball, trying to close off this game. But Odd again and Zinni, a lot of class here with Avondale. And they've got outlets and options, and that's why it makes them one of the most dangerous teams. And Manningham got their backs against the wall a little bit here.
In the air by Bryce. It was by Golding, but there's no one there in a red shirt. He extends his arms in frustration. You might see perhaps George Karkaletsis or Zoran Markowski going to their bench soon, but as it stands, all of the subs are sitting down and cooling their heels. Now, we were talking about the transfer window and the sort of delayed nature of it, and we know that to align with a national calendar, but it's not ideal. But what does that look like going forward with the National Second Division, Peter?
Well, the National Second Division, pretty much May next year. That was the intended target. 8 teams so far. They're trying to expand that. We're not getting a lot of information.
Just pause here as Avondale are attacking again. Kerr and well played by Zamaranis, who might have caught one to the face here. George Zamaranis, brave goalkeeping. Came out to claim the ball, and watching a replay screen just to see what happened there.
Steve, could be a clip to the face a little bit. Looks like just might have hit him in the face.
We're going to see a delay here as the trainer is called on to assess the injury to George Zamaranis. Alex Viola, the 19-year-old, is available on the bench if he's needed to come on.
Well, George Kakalets has got to look at his options, not just the goalkeeper, but need to change the game a little bit now. So basically, look at maybe some substitutions, especially in the midfield and the forward line, because a couple of players are getting a little bit tired and really need to have a chance to get back into this game. Talking about the second division, it's earmarked for next year. What will happen? A lot of these players need to know, because where are you going to play next year? A lot of the players here, and I won't mention names, but a lot of talent on display here on both sides. We even mentioned the young player El Sadi from Manningham. They need to know where they stand. Is the second division? What is the criteria? Is it going to be under 25 league? How many foreigners? Which clubs? Is there going to be a transfer market? Are the NPL clubs going to get compensated for players that go to the national second division? What about the A-League? And we know that Football Australia has been very much focused on a domestic transfer market. That's been very important. To integrate that with the A-League, the National Second Division and the NPL, so clubs can be rewarded for developing players. But also in the old NSL, we knew that we had a transfer market where the clubs could actually purchase or transfer players from other clubs. I recall Marconi buying players from Inter Monaro, but we need some clarity here, and the players also need clarity, because we know there's probably 3 teams from Victoria: Avondale, South Melbourne and Preston, all ambitious, and they want to know what it looks like, because are they going to stay in the NPL, or are they going to be part of the National Second Division? What happens to the NPL spot? So a lot to look forward to. I do know there were some surveys done by some of the some football, I would say, think tanks, and there is a lot of positivity around the National Second Division. Stevie, I think we're ready to go here.
Does that positivity extend to perhaps the positivity that will be commencing in 2025?
That's the big question, because if you're going to go to 2025, you need to have the template ready, the platform ready at the end of the NPL leagues, both New South Wales and Victoria, where most of the clubs are going to be from. You need to have that set up, the infrastructure, the ecosystem. We don't have anything, so 8 weeks to go to the finals. Let's see where it lands. But I'm sure we'll be talking about it more.
And certainly for clubs like Manningham, they would like to know where they stand with regard to relegation, and we've been told that only the bottom side will go down, because that is on the assumption that the NSD does begin next year. But if that is to not begin, the team is second last, is going to be getting pretty nervous the longer we don't hear what's happening with 2025's NSD plans. Avondale launching an attack on the left-hand side. George Mells, who provided the assist to George Ott to get the ball rolling in the second 45 and give Avondale that comfortable 2-goal cushion. One behind the ball here except for Ben Everson. Mells trying to pick his pass. Looking for Cuba. Cuba gives the thumbs up of approval.
You just mentioned Mel's there. He's played in a professional environment, A-League, overseas, knows what it's about, and a lot of the players in the NPL haven't had that taste. That's why we do need a national second division and really give these players a platform. But you mentioned a very good point, also relegation. Unlike the A-League, the NPL, we have got relegation. We've got Manningham here today, Moreland, and St Albans, all nervous clubs. What's going to happen?
Header, Samaranis, there was a bit of a breakdown in communication there, but Macol was good enough to get it away. Second bite of the cherry. So midweek working on the cup game with Arthur Akratides, which was the match between Avondale and Oakley. Arthur was mentioning about the qualities of Stefan Zini. We've seen those again today. A player who hasn't really had that opportunity at the A-League, although despite being a couple of summers ago he was signed on loan by Western United, doesn't really get the opportunity for exposure. Just the gulf in between the two competitions, Peter, like that'd be really something to be pleasing, to be something to have a bridge in between.
Exactly, and we just had a substitution, I believe, for Avondale. But yeah, it is that. You need to have that ambition. Number 23 is coming. I think that's...
So it's Trojczewski who gets his chance, and that was his performance here a week ago. He was only on for a short time and he's returned from injury. Came on, scored, and then assisted as well. So a high output, he replaces Yishay Town. So a like for like in midfield. Manningham getting on the ball here through Golding. El-Sadi to his left. He's going to go through the middle. El-Sadi gets it eventually, and he tries his luck on his right foot, but the shot lacked the venom, and it wasn't easy to save for Tom Manos.
Yeah, El-Sadi a bit frustrated there. You can hear it from here. Thought he could have done better. Get that shot a little bit higher. But you mentioned Christian Trojczewski. He's a player that was in Portugal. He came back. The pandemic was on, COVID, and he had some trials set up. I believe I was talking to him, Central Coast. Couldn't go because of obviously we had the interstate borders and missed the opportunity. And that's why the National Second Division, all these pathways are very important, because Christian Trojczewski, who's rated probably one of the best midfielders in probably the NPL here in Victoria, great to see him come back from injury, didn't get that opportunity. That wasn't paid.
Such a talented player, a good technician, and experience in Portuguese football has only been a good thing for him as well, and he has a really good head on his shoulders as well. I was speaking to him at the cup match against Altona East Phoenix after he was injured the previous weekend, and here he was trying to get on the end of the ball again. He was there that night on crutches supporting his teammates a couple of days after sustaining that leg fracture, which saw him out of action for around 10 matches. He's back again now, and it's good that he's made a quick recovery, and certainly one of the players that it's great to have lighting up NPL Victoria with the quality that we see from some of these players that they have. It's a joy to watch, and here's Carpenter. With the intervention, but more so than the interception, because he didn't maintain possession of the ball, and throws taken quickly by Carpenter, looking for George Ott in the box, who bounces off Castiello. Manningham good enough to clear the ball. Here's Carter, receiving from Turgut. Acol. To Vella. Kerr. This is good pressing by Avondale. El-Sadi, the chest and a touch for Trojczewski. Good challenge to win the ball. Trying to get around to Vella. Oh, the back heel, the flare's coming out, Peter. Look at this. There's Kerr. There's the shot, and Cuba, blocked by Castiello, appeals for a handball. Play on to call from Michael Mammis. George Ott, and now's a chance for Vargas, who scored from a similar position a couple of weeks ago, only for his goal to be probably contentiously not counted at the end of season tally, because that match was considered a 3-0 forfeit.
Well, Trojczewski, the pass of the day, I would say, and just Everyone's been watching the Euros, I assume, and yeah, that was like Euro football. Some fantastic interplay there by Avondale. They've got that class players, and really it's great to see the NPL. People say NPL football is tough, but it's very technical as well, and there's great little interplay there by Avondale.
Play by Everson. That is a raking switch of play to find Robert Harding. An excellent ball from the 37-year-old, and here's Harding. Carpenter with the interception. Puts it out of play. Well, I was probably railing on a bit before about the qualities of Christian Trojczewski, but we saw them there, Peter. That backfield was excellent.
You are justified. You're justified. But interesting, Kakalits does not change the structure. Pretty much it's 4-5-1 set up there.
Here's El Sadi. Manos missed the ball. El Sadi looked like he was in. Couldn't capitalise on the opportunity. That was a very close call. Would have seen Manningham get right back into the action. 3-2, but the chance is not taken by El Sadi, 18-year-old. It's a frustrated figure. It's Cuba. Kerr. Tackled by Golding. He's been clearly Manningham's best player of this second 45. He's running out of options here. He's going to go back to Vella. Samaranis, who's recovered from that knock to the face. It might have been a bit of a blood nose, but he hasn't had to put on the bandage around the head, so that's good. Here's Junior Carter picking up the ball between his two central defenders and distributing it. Keeping it in play. By a millimetre there was Golding, but Cuba coming the other way. The game was just gone a little bit scrappy in the last couple of minutes. Free kick going away. The boys in red, Manningham.
Yeah, you mentioned Golding is probably the class player here for Manningham. I'd like to see him get a bit more support. He's been getting the ball, but just hasn't had support around in terms of the wings and be able to switch. El Sadi's been working very hard, but he's probably a little bit missed an opportunity there. Probably should have done a little bit better. But I think with Golding, with his interplay, his initiative and his ability to get around players, and needs a little bit more support from his teammates.
It's Turgut. Ramirez has adopted the wide right position. Played in several different parts of the field today. Carter. Ramirez and Carter with the 1-2, and Carter might have been fouled by Trojczewski, and assistant referee on the far side celebrating game 150 today. Waved the flag to indicate a free kick. Over there, Jordan English. And Michael Mammas takes heed, and a chance from the set piece opportunity here for Manningham, and they need to try and get themselves back into this one with a goal. Here as we approach 20 minutes to go plus stoppages.
Been a very good game so far. Set pieces. Really, Manningham really need to convert. I can see they brought in Akol, Castello, all the big players for this set piece. They probably need a goal right here to get back into this game. Very good first half, but it just dropped off in the second half. And we haven't seen many substitutions. Actually, we're probably going to see one now. Manningham maybe need to freshen up the team, but really need something to change now.
Golding is renowned for his set piece quality. Needs to deliver here.
We'd be disappointed in that. Over-hit and over, maybe a bit over-enthusiastic, but now we've got a substitution. And it looks like the young player, El Saudi, coming on, had a fantastic, what I call shift. First half, really worked hard, and we'll be disappointed didn't put that goal away about 3-4 minutes ago. Stevie?
Yeah, that has been a good performance for him today, and probably a good call from George Carclerts to give him a spell after playing a high-intensity match. He's at this senior level. He's been really good, but it's a good chance for James Tuntis, who's another player who's still only 21 years of age himself and 5 goals in all competitions this season. He's certainly a threat. But we've got a problem here for George Samaranis, so we might have to see another change here to be made by George Carclerts. So Samaranis is he perhaps seeing stars from that knock to the face? Is he a little bit dizzy and gone to ground here?
Yeah, it could be a symptom. Yeah, it is going to be a substitution symptom. Is it concussion or is it the right foot? Can't really tell from here, but he doesn't seem well. He's coming off. Something's bothering him, and really they've got to make the change and bring on the young goalkeeper. But he'll be disappointed. He got beaten a couple of times from the top, a couple of lobs, but yeah, he's obviously injured, and now they need to make that change.
We're going to see that change in a moment with Alex Viola, the 19-year-old who's warming up. He's at least taking his jacket off anyway. He's come straight down the tunnel here as well, Peter, so there might be some concerns for his welfare there with that knock to the face.
Yeah. Is Viola's first game? I'm not too sure. We haven't probably investigated that, but great opportunity for the young player to show what he can do, showcase, and as we mentioned before about National Second Division, these are the opportunities. You've got to take them.
It's good to see young players taking the chances, and a smile on his face. He's happy to be out there, I think. Certainly a big lad too. He's probably still growing.
Yeah, that's he looks quite tall, and he's excited, and that's good to see. Good to see young, enthusiastic players really add to the dimension of the NPL. You mentioned Toontas. Toontas last year was one of their players that brought him into promotion. Did quite a few goals. I think he scored a goal in that last match when they went up. So important player, hasn't had as many opportunities this year, Steve. But good to get him back in the team and show what he can do.
Quite Turgut, only as far as Cuba. Carter. Opportunity here for Toontas. To the top for Everson. Experienced Everson at the youthful Vargas. Trying to get around the younger man. Vargas has done pretty well here. Everson wins the ball back though. He had a couple of options at the top of the box. Whistle sounds. Just behind the post in the gantry here. Peter, did that hit the referee?
Hit the referee. We rarely see this, but bounce ball. It's actually no. I'll just play it back out. Here's Kerr.
Bowles through the centre of the park. First time pass was by Ott, and here's Cuba. Carpenter is galloping forward from left back. Can he supply the cross? It's in for Kerr. It's got too much on it.
Good vision there by Carpenter. Knew where he was going to just overhit a little bit, but Kerr, you saw the ground he's making up. He's just flying on the pitch and really elusive and able to get to positions. A bit too much on that, but really someone who really can create a lot of problems, and someone in the finals that, considering what Avondale's got injured at the moment, quite a few players, Kerr could be that player that makes a difference and adds an extra dimension like last year when they won the grand final. This year they've been up and about there, obviously South Melbourne leading the pack, but he's the kind of player that can make a little bit of a difference. Steve.
The change has been made here by Warren Markowski as well, and it's the introduction of Yusuf Ahmed, the 21-year-old South Aussie from Salisbury United, as opposed to the other Yusuf Ahmed, who is still out injured, the original Avondale Yusuf Ahmed, but this particular Yusuf Ahmed, can we call him Yusuf Ahmed 2.0, is back from his international trip to represent Somalia for the first time, and if Google Sports and the highlights package are correct, he almost scored against Mozambique in front of 50,000 people at Maputo, forcing a double save out of the goalkeeper, having a good opportunity, getting through one-on-one, actually having his first shot saved, and then it bounced up and he had an attempt with the head, which was also saved as well. The commentator failed to acknowledge his name in the call for some reason, Peter, but my research tells me that was in fact Yusuf Ahmed involved in his first appearance, and then he also played in the loss to Botswana as well. So they're sitting bottom of the group in the World Cup qualifying African section there, Somalia. So a little bit of work to do, but isn't it great to see NPL Victoria players playing on the highest stage, and that is that World Cup qualifying level.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, that's the opportunity that this league can give players, especially from some of the African community. I know I was speaking to a colleague, a football agent who does quite a bit of scouting in Adelaide. You mentioned Adelaide, and Salisbury. This is where Yusuf Ahmed Mark II has come from into our NPL. And a lot of African boys from there, or African background boys, let me rephrase that. A lot of talent in there, and a lot of the national teams from Africa, but not just from South Australia, but Victoria, are looking at these type of players because they see the NPL as a league that's competitive, and hopefully the second division will be a launching pad as well, where these type of players can come, prosper, and maybe represent. Not everyone can represent the Socceroos, but some of these players can go into these other teams and help them prosper and do well in the African championships.
Back in possession. I may have heard a short time ago as well, Peter, the substitute goalkeeper has come on. Had his first touch a short time ago.
Yeah, I'm looking at the keeper now. He's quite talkative, quite confident. Sorry, Steve.
Yeah, Thomas Grunos is, apologies, Thomas Grunos is the name of the keeper who's come on. So I just noticed he's wearing number 25, so apologies for that. Thomas Grunos, and, well, he's got a grin on his face.
Yeah, apologies from both of us to the listeners and viewers. That's definitely, it's right below us here, definitely a Manningham ball there. But yes, good to see the young keeper get his chance. Very talkative, I can see, Stevie.
A lot of confidence. He's come straight onto the park, and he's been standing a long way out of his penalty area too, which is always the trait of a keeper who's got a lot of self-belief. To make a meaningful save yet, but he used to field that ball as it was played through towards Blake Carpenter, and he handled it well. Here's Trajewski, nice little turn, and plays the ball through for Kerr. Castiello's across to close him down, but concedes the corner kick.
Kerr, a lot of space today, a lot of ability to get behind or across Manningham, and really he's just playing his own game and really showing what he can do. And right now, Manningham, I think, have to look for solutions. 2 goals behind. Where's it going to come from? There's not much to see anyone else off the bench, but really we're in a difficult situation here because this second half they've dropped off a little bit.
It's going to be Carpenter to take the corner kick. The players are congregating around the back post area. The zonal defence from Manningham. Kept 2 players up on the halfway line for the counter attack. It's Bryce and Yusuf Ahmed. Well, that might even be his first touch back from international duty and back onto the score sheet as well. Yusuf Ahmed. In fact, that is his first Avondale goal.
Wow, Yusuf Ahmed, really great opportunity. First opportunity, you're right. It's probably not, if not his first touch, his first opportunity from Maputo in Mozambique all the way now to Avondale. Just an exciting couple of weeks for this player and really showing what can happen in world football. But really, that's the difference. We mentioned Yusuf Ahmed, the Victorian Yusuf Ahmed, not available. Here they've got another Yusuf Ahmed who's really hungry, and he's another player that wants to take his opportunity. And we mentioned the national second division. Another one who can probably showcase there.
Congratulations to Yusuf Ahmed with his first NPL Victoria goal. He's only appeared for the club on 5 occasions so far prior to today, so in his 6th match for the club. It's been an interrupted season, but he's on the score sheet now. He's involved in the play here again, winning another corner, and Manningham just didn't handle that set piece very well. It was played across to the back post. Aiden Bryce nodding it back across the goal. Something that was definitely rehearsed at training by Zoran Markowski and his coaching staff. And, well, it was too much for that Manningham defence in the end.
Yeah, Manningham losing a little bit of their structure, getting a little bit, maybe the tiredness. Avondale's been attacking frenetically this second half, so there's bound to be mistakes. But we've got to hold out here.
Same delivery here at the back post. It's Yusuf Ahmed, and the crowd thought that was in. In fact, it was Kalaloo Kamara Well, the crowd was up. Kalaloo Kamara hasn't scored yet this season. And going the other way is James Tunchis. He's got options left and right. Ramirez, well, that's a little bit wide for Jose Ramirez. He's still got the ball out in front of him, trying to get past Carpenter, but he's double-teamed. Avondale survived the threat. Well, they looked dangerous on the counter-attack there after Kalaloo Kamara had come so close to scoring his first goal of the season.
Yeah, Tunchis should have done better there. He overhit the ball. They really had 3-on-3 and really probably could have created opportunity. Overhit and a bit disappointed with that.
Well, from long range, that's off target. Christian Trojewski not afraid to try his luck from distance. Keeper was out of position. We said he's been off his line.
That could be the third time he could have been off his line. Manningham, different keeper, of course.
Thomas Brinos.
Now we've got probably Manningham. Golding looks like he's coming off, which is a little bit of a blow. He's been one of their better players, creative players, looking dangerous. He's come off, and we've got a substitution. Can't pick it at the moment. I'm just trying to see. Yeah, Manningham 3-1 behind. It's going to be quite difficult from here.
Interception by Kerr, and goal. Blocks the cross. Looks like it's Reece Dufton, the 19-year-old former Melbourne City midfielder who's getting his chance now. Good feed by Everson for Ramirez, but Kamara looks the man possessed as he charges through and wins the ball. Junior Carter from Trojewski, who almost scored from his own half just moments ago. I can't remember the last time I saw a goal from someone in their own half in NPL Victoria for some time. Here's Dufton, he's a long way out. Ramirez, he's going to try his luck though. On the half volley, it's a good technique from Tom Manos to field that one, which was a fair regulation save. Out of their own 6-yard box here, but no problems doing so, giving Ben Everson the run around. Malls, looks like he's going to get through the full 90 today. He was subbed out with a sore hammy 2 weeks ago in that match against Moreland City. This venue. He's made a return in the cup during the week and also featured today, but that was the reason why we saw Aidan Bryce deputising in central midfield last Saturday. But we've seen him back in his usual position, both in the cup games during the week against the Cannons and today. Avondale skipper in central defence with Kalaloo Kamara, and he's their left back, Blake Carpenter, drifting inside, and then Carpenter sees Kamara behind him. So it's Avondale. They're 3 goals to the good, and they're giving the Manningham side the run around now. Kerr is going to be onside here. Castiello getting back to mop up, but Cuba's in here. He hits the post. And Yusuf Ahmed has his shot blocked. And it was a good block too by Tavalla. They're piling on the pressure here. There could be more goals to come for Avondale in the closing minutes. Tunsis is all on his own. Trojewski. Ahmed. Kerr in space. It's all opening up for Avondale now. Carpenter drifted inboard. Oh, he's looking for Cuba, but the pass was way off target.
Yeah, Kerr, Yusuf Ahmed, Mark II, I should say. Just really creating problems. You mentioned Reece Dufton's come on. He's an Melbourne City defender, under 21 from Melbourne City, transitioned across. He was one of 2 players from Manningham. There was a reporter article released early in the season, just before the NPL Victoria started, of the best under 23 players to look out for in NPL Victoria. He was one of them from Manningham, Nathan Gibb the other. And good to see him get some game time. I think with him coming on, being more of a defender, I think Carter and a few others need to push up a little bit to support the forwards. There's nothing to lose now. We've only got about 7-8 minutes. And, really to push forward and try to create another opportunity.
Double change by Zoran Markowski, and he takes off his captain Aidan Bryce as well as Kerr. Both of them have had excellent games today. Kerr's been so damaging down the right-hand side. Ethan Pisani comes on into central defence. Not often you see a coach make that change in central defence to give players minutes, but you see Ethan Pisani, who's been impressive when he's got on the park, getting another chance here for the final few minutes as Stefan Zinni, who's still full of running. Chinema was the target. He's got a reputation for scoring goals late in games coming on as a sub as Jacob Chinema, and he was almost in again there. Here he is again, Chinema, player who's full of confidence after that double last Saturday. Speaking of confidence, Yusuf Ahmed. Chinema, they're queuing up here. Stefan Zinni for his second of the afternoon. He makes no mistake. And Avondale are well and truly home and dry in this contest against Manningham.
Yeah, after a first half that was very hard fought, very even. Bit unlucky Manningham copped that soft goal, but Avondale showing their class now. And Zinni, we mentioned earlier with Zinni, fantastic finish. Had a chance in the A-League. What are the A-League clubs doing right now? It's off-season, signing players. We know the budgets are down in the A-League. The pay TV rights, from my sources, are saying is down, and the players won't have the budgets they do in previous seasons. Here are players we can scout and have a look at them, bring him into the A-League, give him some opportunities. Where are the A-League scouts? Where are the ability to maybe give some of these younger guys, I would say, players who want to play professionally, an opportunity? And this is one of the platforms that clubs should be looking at, Steve.
That's right, and Stefan Zinni, well, he's going to give the Golden Boot race a shake now that he's back from injury. That makes it 11 goals in NPL Victoria for him this season. 14 in all competitions. And he's still really got that yard of pace against the defender that we saw the time this afternoon, but that poise in front of goal as well that you need at the highest level. Well played by Tavalla here. Sliding in was Everson. Ball breaks for Ramirez. Carter. Technique again, Junior Carter. Steering away from Yusuf Ahmed. And here's James Chuntis. Gets into the box. Tavalla had continued the run forward, and he looks on and agonised that he couldn't bring that ball under control and turn and fire a shot at Tom Manos' goal. Nonetheless, it will be a corner kick for Manningham, and well, how they love a goal to add some respectability to this scoreline, because well, it's a bit harsh on them, particularly for how they played in the first 45.
Yeah, it is quite harsh, 5-1, but Avondale got the 5-0. They've got what, 6 players have scored over 6 goals this season, so we're...
Harding couldn't get any purchase on the shot there, Robert Harding.
Yeah, should have done better there, Harding. And Ramirez has actually impressed me. He's shown a lot of determination, done a lot of work across the pitch. Hasn't probably had the opportunities, but yeah, he's really impressed me for Manningham, and someone they can build on, and he's got a lot of speed and cover a lot of ground. A bit like Kerr, given free license to be able to create those opportunities.
This ball was played over the top, but the header was by Carpenter, but he gave it straight to Everson, who tried his luck on the volley. The technique was excellent from Ben Everson. He's already got 1 goal this afternoon from the spot, but that one was not going to beat Tom Manos, but I like the idea from Ben Everson.
Well, you've got to try things, and that's something. You've got to be ambitious, and we've seen some goals out of nothing, especially in this league. And Everson, was Tom Manos, he likes to be off his line, likes to talk a lot, likes to be assertive and go forward. And sometimes if you're off your line, a smart forward will take advantage of that.
It's Everson again. Carter. A couple of challenges and wins the free kick eventually. Talking about the goalkeepers, young Thomas Grinos, we're thinking he was 19, or he's actually 18 years of age, so he's even a year younger than that, so he's going to be a big boy by the time he's finished growing, I think, Thomas Grinos.
I think so, and look, and he's come up the pitch, he's talking, he's trying to get a shot in there.
Right by Carter, Harding on the follow-up. Manos, double save.
Nothing to lose there for Carter. It's probably got to push up a little bit more. Got to see a little bit more of him in attacking sense. But yeah, you mentioned the goalkeeper. Great to see some younger players come on, and with a transfer window, maybe more young players can get some opportunities. You mentioned earlier, El Sadi, a young players come from Pascoe Vale, a team that's not in the under 21s, probably the 3rd league of Victoria, do so well.
There's a chance for Chinema. Good defending by Akol, though. Sees the ball out of play. Well played. Akol. He's been resilient this afternoon, particularly a difficult second 45 for Manningham.
Yeah, no nonsense there by Akol, just got up, got on with it. Been probably one of the most impressive players in Manningham today, and you know, it's hard with the 5-1 scoreline, doesn't reflect how well you've played, but still working hard.
Some numbers forward here again. Dufton's ball finds Everson, who tries to cut inside. And here's Ramirez, who'd like to try his luck, but he was just running out of time. But he's been fouled in the process of that challenge, so it's going to be a free kick for Manningham in a really handy position, which, while the wall is organised, it gives us a chance to have a look at some of those scores. You were following that earlier game, Peter. A good win for Green Gully, and maybe some finals football, as we said, could be an option for them. But the other match that's happening at the moment, half-time between Heidelberg and Port Melbourne. It's 0-0 up at the Village for that Saturday kick-off there.
Heidelberg, who we know has had a strong victory for South Melbourne, but yeah, look, it's Ramirez got an opportunity. I would like to see him a bit more forward in this game and get behind and maybe do more, but it's always difficult. Avondale are a transition, got a lot of class players. You can't control everyone, and that's just the way it basically is here. But I really like the fact that Manningham's still pushing forward, and that's what they've got to do for the rest of the season.
Ramirez a take. Manos has organised his wall. There's 4 in it. As the Shadows work around Avenger Park, and the free kick is straight down the middle of Manos' goal.
Should have done a little bit better there, Ramirez. You know, the left or right angles and just try to really test at least Manos there, not straight at him, and that's technique.
Yeah, he could have taken a bit more of a risk and really tried to hit the corner. He just puts it down in the middle of the goal. Big game coming up tonight. Dandenong Derby, Dandenong Thunder hosting Dandenong City at George Andrews. It was good to see the promotional video that came out on the Football Victoria YouTube channel with Kenny Athu and Piers Clark and Dandenong Mayor Lana Formosa, and it's a good local government area that's supporting football in that Dandenong southeast corridor of Melbourne, and it's an important growth area and a growth area for the game as well. And it's good to see promotional videos and clubs and councils promoting games in NPL Victoria. I'd like to see a lot more of that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you recall, Dandenong was close to getting, or Southeast Melbourne was close to getting a A-League team at one stage. Good thing about here, the referees let the game go today. Been quite a few fouls, but letting it flow, which has really been good for the spectators as well.
It's been great today. Michael Mammis, one of the experienced referees in NPL Victoria. He had a smile on his face before kick-off too, and we went in to have a chat to the officials to convene over the team sheets, and it's going to be a free kick for the Manningham substitute, James Chuntis.
This is an interesting one, Steve. A lot of A-League players been let go this last week. Brisbane 8, won't go through all the clubs, but a lot of them are free agents. What do the NPL teams do? I mean, obviously there's a point system, hard to recruit too many, but on the other side, there are A-League players who've been let go. Some of these clubs could be ambitious in, you know, whether it's relegation or final football, sign one or two.
Well, I've heard a rumour that the point system has now been shelved during the season as well. I'm not sure if that's something that you've heard talked about as well, and if that's the case, I mean, the budgets are still a constraint, of course, and is it worth signing a player when they might only get to play a month or so worth of football for the new club? Here's Tuntis, who's been bright since coming on. Oh, I think he's been fouled there, and that's just on the edge of the area, and he thinks he might have been fouled inside the area. We'll have to watch that one on our replay screen to check. It was a close call. Foul by Trycheski. Enterprising play by the 21-year-old James Chuntis. 5 goals in all competitions for him this season. We are into stoppage time. This one, so not long to go here until the Avondale team song will be resounding, being played triumphantly and resoundingly, probably 6 times on repeat after full time.
It's a symphony. It's a good song. It's you know, something to look forward to, and that's why I come out to the NPL grounds. It's great football, great food, good atmosphere, and you know, nice cozy venue here in Avondale.
Here's Everson, who's going to roast this one at Tom Manos, who's at full stretch to chip it away. Well, we always knew that Ben Everson was going to be going for power there, and that's what he did. Turgut with the tackle while they were sitting on the ground. This is Dufton. Wide was Castiello, the central defender. Long way from home. Turgut. Everson trying to receive the ball. Ramirez. Kamara wins out. Ramirez slid in. That goal who's lost his footing. Now Stefan Zinni, who is on a hat-trick. Will he go his own way here perhaps? He's got Sian Cuba and Christian Trajewski. Trajewski with time to line up his shot. Good block again by Zavallo, who's blocked several shots this afternoon, the Manningham left-back.
Very hard-working Zavallo today, and Trajewski had the option of Cuba, but I thought, don't be a bit ambitious, just come back, try to test your range and have a shot, but very well done there by the Manningham defender.
There's Yusuf Ahmed. Now Vargas floats it into the back post. Falls for Zinni. It's blocked this time by Castiello. Clearance was by Harding to Everson, and that's going to be full-time at Avenger Park. The 3 points will be staying here for Avondale, and they edge closer to South Melbourne with just a 5-point differential separating the two sides. And, well, their goal difference won't change because South winning 4-0 last night, and Avondale also winning by the 4-goal margin today, Peter. A really good second 45 by the Avengers.
Yeah, the class that a lot of the players that Avondale have rose to the top in that second half. Manningham will be disappointed. They should have been on par in the first half. I let that soft goal 2-1 just before the break there. But this second half, Avondale, the creativity, just the diversity in attack of players who are really willing to take the game on and have free license. And that's, I think, Markovski's got that luxury. He's got 4 or 5 game changers in his team and ability to be able to unpack and beat teams like Manningham. Manningham is still a decent team. They shouldn't be disappointed. Got 8-9 games to get out of the relegation zone, and they've shown some good qualities today, Steve.
That's right. We look at Manningham, they've shown what they can do against the bigger boys, and it's what they can do against their rivals at the lower end of the table that's going to matter most. They've got to play St Albans at home next Saturday at 3 p.m. at Petty's Reserve, so that's a genuine 6-point game. That's going to be very exciting to see how it plays out. They play the Melbourne Knights the following week on the Friday night at Knight Stadium. That's a tough one because the Knights appear to have hit form, scoring 11 goals in their last 2 fixtures after finding goal scoring really tough earlier in the season. And then in 3 weeks' time, Manningham will play against Moreland City, also at Petty's Reserve on the Saturday afternoon. So 2 out of the next 3 games are going to be the moments where Manningham's season is decided and their fate for next year.
Yeah, they're go-to games, really. And you mentioned Melbourne Knights, and that's the thing about the NPL in Victoria. Things swing around. So we mentioned Green Gully before. Now we mentioned Melbourne Knights. They're on the up. Obviously, South Melbourne, Avondale a bit far ahead, but the competition's even at the top, but also at the bottom. And Manningham's got 2 relegation derbies. Exciting times ahead, Steve.
And speaking from an Avondale point of view as well, a really big game on Friday night up at Olympic Village, Heidelberg United. That's probably your game of the round next weekend as those 2 finals contenders face off, and then the following week it's a trip to Paisley Park on the Saturday evening, and then a big rematch of their cup match from during the week. They'll play the Oakley Cannons back here in 3 weeks' time as well. If Avondale can pick up the 3 points for all of their games the rest of the season, they'll give themselves the best possible chance. That will be the challenge, though. It's easier said than done. But at the moment, they seem to have no problem scoring 4 and 5 goals in every match they're playing, particularly here on their home turf at Avenger Park, and trying to close that gap against that they have ahead of the league leaders, South Melbourne, which currently stands at 5 points. Oakley Cannons had a chance to leapfrog Avondale temporarily today. They didn't take the chance, losing to Green Gully, so it's really a race between 2 now at the top of the table, it looks like.
Very much so. And think about Katebian and Yusuf Ahmed, Mark 1, I should say, or out of respect, Yusuf Ahmed, the Victorian, basically to come back. A lot of firepower. So very Avondale in a very strong position, and South Melbourne will be looking over their shoulder.
That's right. Well, Peter Paleologos and Steve Curtin, it's been a pleasure working together today. And Peter, great. Hope we get to do this again soon.
Same here. Everyone have a good night.
Thank you. And thanks to Jordan behind the camera for Sportscast Australia. You've been excellent even when the sun came out onto the horizon. And we wish you all a happy winter solstice evening this evening as we sign off from Avenger Park, where the solitary goal from Ben Everson from the spot wasn't enough to get past Avondale with 2 goals from Stefan Zini, 1 from Sian Cuba, 1 from Yusuf Ahmed and 1 from George Ott, seeing them get another 5 goals on the board to add another 4 goals to their goal difference today at Avenger Park, where at full time it is Avondale 5, Manningham United 1. Good evening from Steve Curtin and Peter Paleologos.